Hello, John Fisher here. I'm going to talk for a few minutes about some things that I come across in my daily role as an insurance claims adjuster. Just some tips and tricks that most people don't know that may be able to benefit you in the case of a sudden and accidental loss. Now, I'm not going to go over basics, why you should have insurance, why you shouldn't, or what you need to get, but I'm going to assume that you have renters or homeowners insurance already and know the reasons for doing so. Now, this guy is a perfect example of why you should have insurance on your property. Most burglars aren't even this nice, you know. I don't see any damage to the door. Not sure how he opened it with a crowbar, but he can do massive damage inside your home, especially if you've got a bunch of expensive things. These guys generally target uh, appliances, electronics, video game collections as large as this one. And the thing to keep in mind is that nobody has a video game collection this big. If you have one, what you need is photos of it, something like this to back it up. And I'll come back to that in a moment. But imagine how much it would cost to replace that entire collection. Uh, that's why it's important to follow a couple of these guidelines here. Now, jewelry is the other thing that is frequently targeted by burglars. They Jewelry comes in all shapes and sizes. You know, you can go down to Walmart and pick up a diamond ring for about $55, or you can go to a high-end jewelry store and get a $12,000 ring. Um, you know, what you need to do, what you need to keep in mind is that you need to prove your loss to the insurance. You need to show them what items that you did have. And a couple of ways of doing that is either by saving your receipts or getting appraisals done on your jewelry. Now, the appraisals generally cost some money up front, but they're well worth it in the end. In the event of something like this where we have a serious fire, it of course leaves behind evidence of what you had in your home, so it's not so much of a concern. But if a burglar breaks in and just steals the items, takes them out, you probably don't even know all the things that you have. So what I would highly recommend to all my clients is take photos of everything that you have. You know, iPhone is a perfect example right now. You can take any photos, videos on your iPhone, and you can automatically upload those to the cloud. That way, you know, you take picture photos, you keep your appraisals inside a safe, and they're not necessarily safe. You know, a fire like what we just seen in the house a moment ago, that can heat the internal temperatures inside the safe to a point where those documents will just combust. So now we got cloud computing where it's very easy. Snap a picture, upload it to the cloud. It never goes away. No matter what happens to you or your property, that photo is always available. It's always a good fallback on. Like I said, I highly recommend it. Now, that was more about your property. This is going to focus from here on out about the structure of your home itself. This is for our homeowners, and any homeowner, you know, this is probably the biggest investment that you're going to make or the biggest purchase of your lifetime. You need to do all that you can to protect it from all the various things that could happen to it. I mean, those things listed right here, we've got wind and hail damage, water damage, fire, lightning, tree falling down on your home, theft. You know, all these things are covered by your insurance, but it's subject to how you go about doing it. If you don't take the proper steps, your coverage could be limited to nothing. And so here's a picture of an example of what you can do to help your claim be processed and actually get the money that you're paying for every month. We've got a bathtub here with missing caulk. You know, you take your shower several times a week, water runs down there, and before you know it, I've got a basement full of water that's just been collecting. Uh, you know, water damage that happens over time is more of a maintenance issue. You know, if you have a leaking pipe, what you need to do is take care of that as soon as possible. And you know, even if you have something like this, you need to first take photos, document the damage, but you have a responsibility as a homeowner also to get that water out of there. You can't leave it sit until you call your insurance and they send somebody out to take a look at the damages. Now, even something as simple as a toilet leak, you know, toilet overflow, dirty water, toilet next door to this closet, you flush it, it overflows, it runs in here. Might not be such a big deal, but that could be $3,000 to $5,000 to dry that water up. Now, the important thing to do, most people just mop that water up and it's no big deal, but you need to make sure that it's done correctly, or else you're going to end up with, you know, water behind the baseboards. It's going to result in mold damages like this that can just spread. Now, this has obviously been going on for a very long time. It's a very neglected home. But that kind of damage right there is about $5,000 to $10,000, and you definitely want your insurance company's help in taking care of that. So document the photos and take care of your maintenance issues. Fix your water leaks. Now, some water is not covered, such as this. Any flood or surface water, uh, is generally not covered by your policy, so you need to make sure that you have flood insurance for those sorts of situations. If it hits the ground and runs into your home, generally not covered. Uh, Most neglected area of the home that people don't notice, but it can have the most impact, is your roof. This is a picture of wind damage to a roof. Notice the wavy shingles, and they're lifted up. What happens is water can get down in those shingles and get in the home because a seal is broken once that wind hits it. So another common peril is hail. It doesn't happen very often to each and every one of us, but the damage can range from very minor up here to the severe damage down in the bottom. And one thing that you can do is, if you have a hailstorm in your area, you think that your home has been subjected to it, take a look at your air conditioning coil. Take also the downspouts on your gutters. You can look at either one of these, and you can see the hail hits there. And if there's hail hits like this, it's likely you've got damage on the roof. You need to get it inspected by a contractor or call your insurance company immediately before we have long-term water leak issues. And then, wind also not only does damage to the home, but people have very tall trees that can do severe damage as well. Those trees get knocked down. What most people don't know is that out in your yard, if a limb or tree falls and it doesn't hit a covered structure, that's homeowner maintenance. You have to remove that debris yourself. But if it lands on your home, then it caused damage, that can be covered, but it's limited. Now, the last thing to kind of keep an open mind about is that if you have a homeowner's insurance claim, your risk has gone up. Your premiums will likely increase. That's just the nature of insurance. And that's pretty much all that I've got. Thank you for your time.